Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and today I have another glaze review video for you. I am reviewing Midnight Run by Amaco. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this new glaze. I've got a few different clays to try it on: Sheltoe, Brown Bear, Bee Mix. Hopefully we'll be able to find some amazing new combos with this glaze. I've heard great things about it, so it looks kind of like a variegated gray, but possibly darker than the Dove Gray that I love so much. So we'll see. First thing, I'm going to start putting a base coat on all of our controls. So I'm going to do 3 pieces that'll have just Midnight Run on them, and then I'll use it also as a base under some other glazes. This is the second coat of Midnight Run going on this one. This one here, while we're waiting for that first coat to dry, has been dipped in Rising Sunshine. That is a mixed glaze, and I'm going to put 1 layer of Midnight Run on the outside. So just 1 thick coat here to see how it'll look over that glaze. And I'm not going all the way to the bottom because it might run. Okay, so that's ready for the kiln. This dish here is been dipped in my variegated Dove Gray, another mixed glaze. This glaze I often pair with my Midnight Black glaze, and that is a mixed glaze. So I am interested to see how this looks with a glaze of a similar title. So I'm going to leave it just like that. Maybe I'll even that out. This dish has been dipped in Micro Pearl. So this had 1 dip of Micro Pearl on it, and now I'm putting the Midnight Run over it. And I'm just going a little bit on that rim because I'm not sure how much those 2 might flow when they're mixed together. This is coat number 2 going on the Sheltoe clay. Second coat going on the Bee Mix sample. For these controls, I'm going to do 3 brushed coats. While we're waiting for the second coat to dry, this has been dipped in Studio White. I think Studio White. I hope it's not another Micro Pearl. Sometimes it's hard to tell those color differences apart. I'm going to do 1 brushed coat over that. Just like that. It does look a little bit beige. So just in case that last one was Micro Pearl instead of Studio White, I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more. There we go. Hopefully it's a good combo. And excuse my voice. I have been sick for a while here and trying to get over the tail end of this cold. This is my night glaze on this one. I'm putting the brush coat right over. I don't know that that's going to be a very good combo, but we'll try it out. This is Chun Seafoam. It's another mixed glaze. Don't worry, I'm going to do some commercial glazes too. So for this, I do want some of the green to show through. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the kiln like that. This currently has 2 brushed coats of Midnight Run, and oops, always mix this coyote glazes. I feel like then sometimes they just get lumpy. Okay. All right, 2 brushed coats of Midnight Run, and I'm going to do 1 coat of Amethyst by Coyote over the top of that one. All right, this also has 2 brushed coats, and I'm going to go ahead and put Fuzzy Peach over the top here. Fuzzy Peach is a spectrum glaze, so it's from their floating glaze line. So if this one works, there's probably about 15 other glazes that will also look good on Midnight Run. In the past, I've really liked River Birch over some dark glazes, so I am going to try a brushed coat of River Birch over these 2 brushed coats of Midnight Run. All right, here I am putting Yes, coat number 3 on the Brown Bear sample. Hopefully that has enough pigment in it to show on this dark clay. And then third coat here. That was B-Mix. And this will be Sheltoe. All right. Few other combos I want to try out. This cup has 2 coats of Ocean Drift on the outside. And I'm going to just kind of see what Midnight Run looks like around the top edge of that. Oops. And I guess a little bit on the inside too. All right, there it is there. These other ones need to wait just a second. This is Green Tea, Flux Blossom, and Lunar Pink. All right, this is Green Tea, and I'm gonna do a full coat of the Midnight Run on the inside. Just like that. Flux Blossom, full coat there. This is what I thought I might try too. This is where my floating Celadon glaze didn't quite cover the white because it was on so thick. So I'm gonna just try and see if this color is sort of enough to cover up that bare patch. So the original is Studio White and it had floating Celadon on it. And now I'm gonna refire it with some Midnight Run. Fingers crossed, something might happen here. This Lunar Pink dish is getting 1 coat. Here we go. All right, the results are out of the kiln. And if you watched that kiln opening, then you probably saw when I dropped the kiln post and damaged a bunch of our pieces. But that's okay because we can still see the color and we'll still be able to figure out what tests are great and what tests aren't. But spoiler, they're all pretty good. This is a great glaze. Definitely solid results on all the pieces. So let's jump over to the photo table and look more closely at all of these. First, let's look at our controls. So these are all 3 brushed coats of the glaze. That is over Kentucky Mudworks Brown Bear clay. Again, really pretty. You're getting that same sort of look, almost like teal drift, only in a gray. This is it on Sheltoe, so a little less of that. The 3 brush coats did stay where they are. You can sort of see here where it's just 1 coat, and then the 3 is more here. So that's sort of the variation there. And this is, I believe, the sample on B-Mix. This was not included in the glaze along portion, but I did decide to put Midnight Run on the rim of this little dish that had curry on it. So this is Spectrum's curry and then Midnight Run here in a band. This cup has Dip of Rising Sun Chang on it and then Midnight Run at the top. Now for this, I do think that my Rising Sun Chang is a little bit thin. I added too much water to that because it's gone a little bit brown instead of a more creamy pink beige. This one was really pretty with the variegation. This is Flux Blossom ×2, and then the Midnight Run was applied here on that bit there, so it did move a bit, but it didn't hit the shelf. On the refire piece, it did, you'll recall, I'm not even sure where the white spot was, somewhere in here, maybe here. It did cover that, and it does look pretty over top of the floating Celadon in white, but I wish I'd just gone all the way with that. I wish I'd done a full coat with that. So the Midnight Run did move, but I think this was going to move regardless just because it was a refire. So there was already a lot of glaze on this outside that just kind of moved its way down, but that can be ground back. In the case of our Ocean Drift ×2 cup, it acted a bit like a flux here and it didn't change the color overall very much at the top. That inside had a rising sun pour in it, so a little bit of over Ocean Drift and then over Rising Sun there. I really loved it over Green Tea and was really sad that that was the one that took the brunt of the kiln post smash. But you can see the Green Tea ×2 right here. And then the Midnight Run did want to go a little bit there. Some really pretty different colors that that green tea brought out of the base. Midnight Run with Coyote Amethyst. Just the barest hint of that purple there. Not showing a ton. I do like it though. I think if I were to do this combo again, I think it needs more amethyst. So maybe something like 1 Midnight Run, 2 amethyst. This was my dip of Chun Seafoam and then Midnight Run just on the rim there. Micro Pearl with Midnight Run. I feel like I'm slowly learning how Micro Pearl as a base changes the different colors over it. And I thought putting Midnight Run over my Night Glaze would have been just kind of another black, but it definitely has some interest to it. Wish it wasn't broken. This was one of the dishes that I wondered if it was Studio White or not, and it was actually Nebula Blue by Laguna. So this had a dip in Nebula Blue and then a coat of Midnight Run. But luckily I did that second Studio White, and I really like Midnight Run over Studio White. I think that's very pretty. And this is River Birch ×1 over 2X Midnight Rum. You can see my cross section here. I could have trimmed that dish a little better, but that's okay. This was a dip of variegated Dove Gray in that Midnight Run on the rim. Not really as dark as my other Midnight Glaze, and too similar maybe of a color palette. I think I would pick something with a little more contrast in that combination. For this, I believe it is the Fuzzy Peach sample, so ×2 brushed Midnight Run and ×1 of Spectrum's Fuzzy Peach. Although really not seeing much of the peach there, just a lot of the white. This one was a surprise to me. I wasn't really thinking this was going to come out well, but it definitely, Lunar Pink as a base definitely has some potential. I was more doing this one because the glaze was already open, but you can definitely see where the two are combining, that it's very interesting. So as you can see, Midnight Run really stayed on the piece as well and performed well with every single glaze that I tried it with. Whether the color palette with some of the combos is to your liking or not, I definitely feel like there are a lot of possibilities and it's a great solid glaze to layer. And if you're looking for something in that sort of darkish, grayish blue tone with brown undertones even, it's really a great glaze if you want to add it to your library. What do you think? Is this one to buy or skip? I'd love to hear your opinions. Thank you for watching, and I would really love it if you liked and subscribed to my channel. Jojo, you just moved the whole camera.